Cindy. All right. Welcome to Age Reinvented. What exactly does that mean? It's a lot, my friends, but we're going to dummy it down tonight. We're going to have an open conversation and we're going to try to understand what bioage and chronological age is. My name is Jody Pintack. I'm tuning in from Dallas, Texas. I would love for you to put in the comments where you're coming in from. And I am going to be with two of my colleagues and business partners, April and Shannon. We're going to take turns. But first, you're going to hear from me. And let's just talk about, I can't see the Canva. Is it up? Do y'all see it? Sorry.
No, are you ready for me to share the screen?
Absolutely. So sorry. That would be perfect.
Okay, just let me find it first.
Well, I'm going to keep going and we'll just go to that second screen. But let me just tell you something. I turned 60 in June. This conversation means a whole lot to me because I just became a JoJo 11 months ago to my first grandbaby. And so 60 years is what I have lived. And then I'm looking forward to how much time I have left on this earth. And I want those years to be the best years. So our chronological age is how many candles we have on our birthday cake, right? And then our biological age is really what's going on inside. You can go to that second screen. So it tells you what's going on inside your body. Like what's your muscle mass? How well is your heart aging? April's going to talk about your VO2 max and really what that is. Like it really looks inside at your cells. You can go to that third slide. We're going to look at longevity. It has become the mainstream name. Like you can pull up anything and it's all about longevity. And we do a lot of these things, right? We have red light therapy. I have my red light over here in a basket I use in the mornings. I wear an aura ring. This is something else. People do injections. I've done NAD injections before. I've never done a facial. But I do have my Aura Ring, a wearable, and I take supplements and I try to get my blood work done a couple of times a year. So this longevity space helps us hopefully want to age better. But I don't want to just like invest all this money. I want to make sure it's doing what it needs to do to help me age better. So let's go to slide 4. And this is why I love why Shackley describes their mission as we want to empower people to look, feel, and live younger today and tomorrow and to live age free. So for me, live age free means that I don't want to age on the calendar. I don't want that age on the calendar to tell me what I'm capable of. Next, and let's talk about the Shackley science. So, this really matters a lot to me because I'm not interested in just chasing the newest wellness trend, and neither is Shackley. And one of the things that drew me to Shackley was the science behind these products. They've been doing this for decades, 7 to be exact. Yes, we just celebrated 70 years. We've got clinical studies, research, the patents the long before longevity became the buzzword that it is today. So when Shackley started talking about this whole idea of biological aging, my ears definitely perked up. So this next slide is talking about really what is bioage? Because the idea behind bioage is really quite simple. What if we could support the biology underneath how we age? Not just covered up with signs of aging, but support the body from the inside out. And that is the important conversation, which then brings us to the next slide about our landmark longevity study. I actually got to be part of this, y'all. They took 200, huh? I thought somebody said something. They took 235 people that have been taking supplements from Shackley 1 year up to 60 years. Now, for me personally, I've been taking them since April of last year. And then they did this whole like they took our blood, they tested our muscle, they looked at our grip strength, they looked at our blood work to see what our cells were doing inside, like for our liver health and our heart health, all those things. And Though they looked at our movement and our strength. And those are the things that I care about most. And the results were that we all are living 11 years younger than our chronological age. So for me, that means 49, which is pretty cool. All right, slide number 8. Y'all, this is what people are spending on average for their health. This kind of made me giggle a little bit because I fall into this category. I have a $400 Aura ring. I have a $400 Loom box over here, red light device. Let's see what else. My NAD injection that I took last fall, I only did it for 1 month, but it was $500. So there's nothing wrong with spending or investing in your health. So hear my heart. Been there, I'm doing it. I'm also tracking with my Aura ring. However, what if instead of spending all of this, you could just invest $10 a day? That leads us to our BioAge stack on the next slide. And this is what we're talking about right here. So basically, we have our cellular health, which is going to be our Vivix. We have our protein health, which is our Life Shake. We have our joint health, which is our Life Plus collagen. And then we have our essential vitamins. So next, April is going to take it from here. She is going to dummy down in a very polite way all the science about these products and how you can shave minimum 11 years, maybe 8 years off of your biological age.
Did you say I have to be polite?
Yeah. I said you're going to
I
dummy it down for us in a polite way.
I will definitely dummy it down. First, I want to ask whoever's not muted if you could just please mute because we get a lot of feedback and we do want to share this later down the road with some other folks. Or Shannon, if you could mute everybody, that would be helpful. Okay, so yes, let's discuss aging starts in your cells. So when we think about aging, we usually think about what we can see on the outside, right? We start to see some little wrinkles and then we get these gray hairs that are like, I can't be rude, so I won't say pubic hair, but they're like shooting straight up to the sky like it's a connection straight to God, right? And then maybe we start to get the goat hairs and recovering becomes not as quick as it used to. Sorry, you gave me the green light to go, Jody. But aging doesn't actually have to start on the outside. It actually starts on the inside of our cells. So every tissue and organ in our body is made from cells. Okay. Your brain, your muscles, your skin, your heart, your joints, everything. So think of the cells as like the foundation of your house. If the foundation starts weakening, eventually you're going to see the side effects everywhere else, right? That's why when we talk about longevity, we're not just talking about looking younger. We're actually talking about helping the body function better at the cellular level for as long as we possibly can. And as our cells age, we're really dealing with two major problems, and this will take us right into our next slide. So we're talking about damage and depletion. These are the two battles that are happening at the same time as we age. The first is the damage. Our cells are constantly getting beat up by normal day, everyday metabolism. We have oxidative stress. We have inflammation, but then add in everything else we're exposed to, right? We have air pollution, chemicals, environmental toxins, UV exposure, smoke, and different substances that can find their way somehow magically into our food and our environments. So our cells are dealing with wear and tear all day long, every single day. And then, of course, we have depletion. As we age, we start losing some of the things our cells really need to be efficient. And one of the biggest ones is NAD+, which is involved in cellular energy production and repair. So imagine now that the problem is first the cell is accumulating more damage, while at the same time having fewer resources available to deal with that damage. And that is simply it's replacing one thing that doesn't necessarily address the whole problem. Okay. And now I'm going to go into an analogy, but let's take it into the next slide so that we can understand this. Imagine your body is a bucket. And over time, that bucket starts getting holes. You guys have ever had like a metal bucket in your backyard and all of a sudden there's like a hole in the bottom and then there's another hole and you're like, okay, I can't water my plants anymore, right? Those holes represent cellular damage. Now I can stand here and I can pour water into that bucket all day long, but if I haven't repaired the holes, what's going to happen? The water keeps leaking out. So first, we need to support and protect the bucket, and then it makes much more stress to actually fill the bucket back up. So think of like a NAD plus IV, okay, or even a NAD plus injection. You're pouring something into that bucket, but if the underlying cellular environment hasn't been addressed and the holes are still there, how effectively can the body utilize and retain what you've poured in? And this is where the research shows people that get NAD IVs, 70% comes out in their urine the next morning because their bucket still has holes in it. And that's pretty ridiculous for how much that slide a couple backs showed how expensive those things are, like $500 a pop. So instead of only asking like how much can we put in the body, we need to ask ourselves also how well is the body equipped to use this product, right? And that's what we start to find interesting about the approach. Vivix Plus is designed to address both sides, cellular defense and cellular energy. So, in other words, analogies, I love them. Support the bucket, fix the bucket, and then you can fill the bucket up. Okay, let's go on to the next slide, please. So, this is a really fantastic slide. It shows all the clinical results that were proven. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting because we're actually talking again about measurable clinical results, not just somebody saying, I feel better, right? One of the headline findings on this slide is an important in cellular aging measures used in the study that corresponded to approximately, as Jody said, reversing 8 years in 2 months at the biological biocellular level. Okay, they measured a 70% increase in NAD within 24 hours. That's unheard of. There's not an injection and there's not an IV that can actually do that. And why do we need NAD? Somebody asked in the chat, what is NAD? Okay. Think of NAD like one of your helpers that your cells needs to produce energy and carry out your normal repair process. When NAD declines with age, the machinery simply doesn't have the same resources it had when we were younger. Okay. It's what gives your cells energy. So again, repair the bucket, fill the holes, pour in the NAD, and now we start to perform better. Okay. And then we have on here, I'm going to kind of bounce around. We have VO2 max. Okay. Some of you might be wondering, what is that? What is VO2 max? Okay. Well, hold on to your horsies here for a minute because I'm going to explain it the best way that I can. And then we also have to ask ourselves, why did they choose to measure that? Okay. Think about everything that we just solved. We have less damage. We have more NAD, which means healthier mitochondria, more cellular energy. And if all of that is happening, our body should be better at making and using energy, right? The energy that we need to move, the energy we need to think, and the energy we need to recover. And that's exactly what VO2 max measures. And here's why many scientists care about it so much. Okay, over the last several decades, VO2 max has become one of the most important measures in longevity science everywhere. In fact, it is considered the single best predictor of healthy aging and longevity, period. Okay, y'all with me here? Everybody get that? The single best predictor of healthy aging. Okay, even beyond measuring like your cholesterol, which we won't get me started on that, or your blood sugar, it's always going to be VO2 max. And that's not based on one study. It's based on decades and decades of research following hundreds and thousands of people. And now our Jody happened to be one of those people. Okay. And what makes this incredible is after 60 days, they were able to increase their VO2 max. The people that took this product were able to increase their VO2 max by 3.2 units, which might mean nothing to you. Okay. But people that work out the way they do to increase their VO2 max. It's very hard to increase, and it's normally only increased 0.2. So to increase it by 3.2 points, is unbelievable. Okay. Now, let's put this like into perspective. The average person loses about 3.2 points over 8 years. We can increase it back in 60 days, and that's how we're reducing the biological age by 8 years in 60 days. So, how about that? Who doesn't want that? So instead of looking at one single marker, they're actually seeing all these changes about multiple areas because of how it's associated with cellular aging. Okay. The next one that I absolutely love talking about involves zombie cells. They're like, they're dead. Okay. The zombie cells are damaged cells. They stop functioning normally, but they don't get cleared away the way we'd like them to. Instead, they hang around and they start to release signals that affect the healthy cells around them. Think about it like a bowl of strawberries. One starts to rot. What happens to the ones touching it? They all start to have the domino effect and do the same thing. So we're not just talking about feeling younger, we're actually looking at what appears to be happening inside of the biology of the cells themselves. Okay, let's go on and talk about another something that you probably have never looked at. The next slide, we're going to call this the 12 hallmarks of aging. And there's a whole lot of font on there that maybe y'all want to read, but let's not overthink this. Okay, we could go down the rabbit hole for a long time and we ain't got that time right now. Okay, scientists have identified 12 major biological processes associated with aging, and they call those the 12 hallmarks of aging. It's not like a Hallmark card. It's not that loving and kind. So think about them like the different systems inside your house. You have electrical, plumbing, heating, you have your foundation, and all these different systems, but they're all interconnected. Our cells are the exact same way. We have DNA damage. We have shortening telomeres, which are the little protectors on your DNA, right? We have mitochondrial dysfunction. We have inflammation. We have zombie cells. Our cellular cleanup systems become less efficient, and then we have our microbiome change. So, what I think is fascinating about this research is that they weren't just looking at one of these pathways, they looked all around this wheel. It's like the yin to the yang. You can't have one without the other. Okay. They also reported with these changes, they didn't just see the DNA damage reverse or mitochondrial health increase, even nutrient sensing in the body, cellular repair, inflammation, telomeres. But one of those results was a 61% reduction in the formation of those zombie cells, those dead ones. So your strawberries aren't rotting as fast, they're actually staying healthy. Okay. They also reported that the telomere shortening was happening 57% slower than it was without the Vivix Plus. That's mind-blowing. If you guys know chemistry and know about the human body, these are incredible findings. Okay? So, you don't need to memorize this wheel. The takeaway is actually it's pretty simple. Aging is complicated, so a meaningful longevity strategy should look at more than one pathway, and these are the 12 that it addressed. All right, let's carry on to the next slide. So everything you rely on is built on collagen. This is where we're going to get into that next product that was in that bundle, the Life Plus. Okay. What is happening inside the cell is that every structure in your body is made of collagen. Your connective tissue, your bones, your gums, your skin, like everything. Okay, most people hear about a collagen and they think, "Oh, my skin, my hair, my nails," but collagen is so much more than that. It's the part of our joints, like I said, connective tissue, tendons, ligaments. You might think of it like I was talking about the foundation of the house, right? The foundation. Well, now we have the scaffolding to start to build that house. This is where the collagen comes in. Okay. The problem is with our collagen, as you can see, after 25, we lose 1% of collagen per year. By 40, we've lost up to 15 to 20%. And by 40, you're actually breaking it down faster than you can repair it. So by 60 or even up above that age, 70% of your collagen is gone. Okay. We can't have that. So why don't we go to the next slide? Because I think that's the one with the collagen on it. So you can have a fancy look at that screen. So here's what makes the difference, makes this different from simply taking like a generic collagen product. Okay. Most collagen supplements are focused primarily on one thing, which is only replacing collagen peptides. However, in our bodies, our collagen peptides are not just collagen peptides. We have collagen peptides, we have chondroitin sulfate, and we have hyaluronic acid. Okay. This product is an exact duplicate of what's inside of our bodies. There's not another collagen in the world that can do what this can do. Okay. This formulation right here is designed around three different ideas. We have to protect what we got to stimulate what we need, and then we got to be able to build the structure. Okay. So, first, we protect the collagen we already have from the oxidative stress and the breakdown. This is where Vivix Plus and Life Plus become like peas and carrots. Forrest and Jenny, Batman and Robin. You really can't have one without the other. It's brilliant the way they've done this. Okay. Then we have the second part of what this collagen does is it actually starts to stimulate the body's own pathways evolved in collagen and hyaluronic acid chondroitin sulfate production. Okay. Most people think, oh, I'm going to take this collagen. It's giving me 17 grams of whatever, collagen. Collagen is a protein synthesis that happens in your body. And if you don't have the proper nutrients combined with the components, we'll call them, which is the chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, and collagen peptides, to create your own, you're not going anywhere. So you must have these things. And then third, we have to have these things to build the structure so that the environment now supports the joints, the connective tissue, the bones. Your hair will grow 3 inches every 6 weeks. Your fingernails are going to get long and strong, and your joint pain, for some of us, can go away as early as 10 days if you're as lucky as Jody. Okay. So think about a dry sponge compared to a moist sponge. The moist, I can't even say the word, sponge will bend better. The dried out sponge is not going to. Which one's going to absorb shock better? Right? I mean, think about bones. Bones look like a sponge. You still want your sponge to be able to move and bend and do the things you need them to do. So instead of saying, here's some collagen, like good luck, hope it works out for your dry sponge, the idea is that we need to support an environment in which collagen actually has to function, build, stimulate, and protect. All right, let's move on to the next slide, which is talking about muscles. And I love muscles. Muscle is the organ of longevity. Okay. Hands down, most people think muscles are about like looking fit. Okay. That's really not the point of muscles. Muscles play a major role in your metabolism, your blood sugar regulation, your mobility, your strength, and obviously your body composition. But here's what happens as we age. If we don't intentionally maintain muscle, we gradually lose it. That loss affects like way more than whether you can lift something heavy, but it also affects, can I even get up off the floor anymore? Can I go up and down the stairs? Can I catch myself if I trip? Like that's pure muscle strength. Okay. So it also acts as a major storage and disposal site for glucose. And a lot of people don't know that. But this is why one of the reasons maintaining muscle is so important for metabolic health. Okay. So if you want one simple longevity goal, do everything we can reasonably do to preserve and maintain our muscle. The last thing we want is sarcopenia, which basically is a fancy word that your muscles are no longer with you and they're starting to go away. All right, let's go to the next side. This one's fun. We can all stand up and do this. I did this at the convention. It was really cool. It's the 60-second balance test. Okay, muscle isn't just about strength, it's also about balance and stability. One of the simplest things you can test yourself on is this balance test. All you got to do is stand on one leg, see if you can do it for 60 seconds. There's a whole chart on, where you're at for what age you are, but if you can hit 60 seconds, you're golden. Do it by a wall just in case and just see how long you can maintain your balance. All right. Balance relies on not just your muscles. It's so much more than that. And people don't even understand that. Your nervous system's involved, your vision, your inner ear, and your brain are all communicating at the same time together. Not to mention you have your transverse abdominals, which is like your core set around your core. Okay. And as we age, balance becomes increasingly more important because of falls. Falls are one of the biggest threats to maintaining independence for people, over the age of 80, 90, I don't know, whatever age they're at. So this little 60-second balance test gives you something very practical that you can go off of for your own body. Can you control your body? Can you stabilize yourself? Can you maintain the balance that you have? So longevity is not just happening in a lab in a petri dish, it's happening in real life here. It's about being able to live inside your body confidently. All right, let's go on to the next slide. This is the bomb right here. This is it. This is bringing us directly back to muscle. This product right here is called Life Shake. It is my very best friend. It's like helping me survive on my really, really busy days. Okay, strength is the new anti-aging remedy. There is no doubt about it. Protein gives your body amino acids, which are essentially the raw materials used to maintain your muscle and your tissue. Okay. Life Shake provides 20 grams per serving, unless you up it like I do sometimes for 30, but it has an added ingredient called leucine. Okay. Leucine is one of these amino acid that's more important than some of the others because it acts like a switch that signals the muscle building process in your body. But let's back up. What do you need to build structure in your body? You need collagen peptides, you need chondroitin sulfate, and you need hyaluronic acid. So Life Plus, I happen to have it right here, plus this Life Shake is like your investment in building and maintaining your muscles. Okay. The protein is the construction materials sitting at the job site. And then we have our leucine, which is the added amino acid that tells the workers, pick it up and start to build it. Okay. But then we have another piece here about metabolic health. Muscle helps manage glucose, and protein can help with you feeling fuller and maintaining your lean muscle mass. So when we're talking about longevity, adequate protein isn't simply just for the bodybuilders. It becomes important for everybody, whether you're the mom, whether you're the grandma, whether you're the person that has a heart and breathes. That's everybody that needs to have protein in their life. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next bit that's in this fantastic bundle. This right here is called Life Essentials, and it's exactly what it is. It is the foundational nutrients that your body needs for mood, memory, recovery, sleep, for your gut, your microbiome, and nutrients to work at the efficacy that you need them to work for you. Okay. So again, think of it like you're building this beautiful house. You have your Vivix Plus, might be one of the advanced systems that we're talking about. The collagen is going to support the structure. We have the protein that supports the muscle, but you still got to have the nuts, the bolts, the wiring, and your basic materials. That's what this foundational nutrition provides. This system brings together this multivitamin, and these are all methylated, by the way. It brings your multivitamin, your omega 3s, which if you're a woman are crucial for your body and your health heart. Okay, we have magnesium, probiotics, and all the other foundational nutrients that your body needs. And when you present this entire presentation together, we're not just chasing like one magic bullet here. We're looking at cellular health, structural health, your muscle, your metabolic health, the gut, and the foundational nutrients that your body will thrive on. And that's really the biggest message about tonight is understanding aging is inevitable. We can't stop it. We have no way to stop it, but we can know how to support our body while we age, and we can actually influence the way it happens. Okay. And the earlier that we start supporting those systems, like I wish I was 30 learning all this. I'm not. Nobody would guess that I'm 77 years old, right? But I should have started a long time ago because I would have aged entirely differently. So the better positioned we are to protect our health span, not simply adding years to our life, but add more life to those years, you can't go wrong with these products in your back pocket. So I'm done with my spiel. I'm going to pass it over to Shannon. She will talk about the rest of our deck here. And thank you, everybody, for being on. and listening to me. Shannon, it's all yours.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome.
So now the question is, how do you get started? There's a couple different ways depending on what makes the most sense for you. And this is the simplest place to start, the BioAge Reset Stack. This puts the products that we talked about tonight together in one system, so you're not trying to piece everything together. It's $2.99. Our bundles are always the best value. It's a $554 value. And this is what they used in the landmark longevity study, where the participants were 11 years younger. And when you purchase this stack as a member, you get 15% off plus free shipping. And one thing I want you to remember when you order is check the loyalty box. You're already going to be using the products, so you might as well earn points towards free products on future orders. And I love that these products are guaranteed. You can use them, give your body some time with them, and see how you feel. And the whole point of this is to make it simple. You don't need 27 bottles of supplements sitting on your counter, not knowing why you're taking them. You need a really solid foundation and products that work together to support what we're talking about tonight, aging well from the inside out. And next, so there's another option I want to share with you. Maybe you're sitting here thinking, okay, I want to use the products. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm probably going to be telling people about this anyway, because that's what usually happens when we find something that we love and we start seeing results. We share and people ask what we're doing. And if that sounds like you, becoming an ambassador might make sense. You'll have your own referral link. You can share products you're already using, and you can earn money to pay for your habit. Most of us are our own best customers. And when you join, there are several different bundles to choose from, depending on what you want to start with. And I will show these are bundles from the US. They've put together some of the most popular products at a special enrollment price. And your business starter kit and shipping are included. And then here's some for our Canadian friends. And there's no pressure to build some giant business. You can simply share with a few friends, earn some extra money. And then if you decide you love it, you can build something much bigger. And I love that you get to decide what this looks like for you. And if there's something you want to know more about, please contact the person that invited you tonight. And because it's August, here's a really fun special happening right now. You can get creatine for only $10 with any purchase of a bundle that has the Vivix Plus in it. And this goes right along with what we're talking about tonight, because creatine supports focus and mental clarity, all day energy, memory, mental organization, better stamina and performance, and faster recovery between activities. So for $10, that's kind of a no-brainer. And if you're in Canada, you can get the muscle support mix for only $13. So here's what I want you to take away from tonight. You have options. If you simply want to start using the products, become a member. You'll save 15% off. You'll get free shipping, and your products are backed by the guarantee. If you know you're going to tell people about what you're doing anyway, then becoming an ambassador might make more sense. You can save money and have the opportunity to earn money when you share. But more than anything, we hope tonight changed the way that you think about aging, because aging is going to happen. We're all getting older, but how we age is more up to us. We have a lot more influence over that than most of us have ever been taught. And that's what makes me excited, because I don't want just more years. I want really good years. I want to see how good 64, 74, and 84 can feel. And the most important thing is I want to be independent for as long as I possibly can. So thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. We appreciate it, and we know that your time is precious.
Thank you, Shannon. That was fantastic. I will stay on if anybody has any questions they want answered. We can stop recording. But I don't mind staying on if anyone has